Hello, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. I thought today we could talk about the Eastern Screech Owl. Guys, should I start over? I think it's become a bit of a, I don't want to say a joke, but a norm that I'm going to spell stuff wrong. Screech. So, in case you missed that, my pre-written thing, I spelled it wrong. Okay, let's start again. Hello, this is Linda with No Frills ASMR. And I thought today we could talk about the Eastern Screech Owl, which I have a personal story about that I'd like to tell you. So I got out my vintage owl mug. See, it has all these cute owls on it. And I have a tea in there. It's called Trader Joe's Organic Sencha Japanese Green Tea. Brew for 1 to 2. Oh, I'm brewing it too long. Hold on. Let me pull the tea bag out. Oh, it's a big tea bag. Hold on. Look, I have this, I made this. It's a little tea bag holder. I made it out of a melted beer bottle. Okay, let's put that over there. So yeah, so I have a little green tea because it's supposed to be good for your brain. Okay, so the Eastern Screech Owl. I have one in my backyard, which is why I want to talk about it. But let's just start with some Eastern Screech Owl basics. One thing is that they look for open. This feels a little unprepared, doesn't it? They look for like open cavities to build their nest. They don't ever, build a nest by like putting it in a tree like other birds do. They just look for empty cavities like holes in trees that are already there. Or, if somebody has an old mailbox sitting there that is open, they might try to go in there. Anywhere they can find like an empty cavity, they might put their nest in. But we have built an owl box for our owl, and he has started to come back year after year, which is very exciting. So the Eastern Screech Owl particularly has become very adapted to urban environments. They've just decided they're going to get along with people. And their biggest problem is having trouble finding places for their nests because, like I said, they don't build their own. And as soon as a tree, gets a hole in it, like this, in a neighborhood, people want to cut it down because they assume the tree's dead. And so that takes away that environment for the owl. So you might consider building a owl box for your friendly neighborhood owl. Let me see. Let me show you a picture. Well, first of all, these are the binoculars that I bought for keeping an eye on my owl box. And I just got these I think I bought them on eBay used. So I got them pretty inexpensively. They're called Ghost Guy, but they are 10 by 42, which seems to be pretty good for what I use them for, which is looking from my back window to the back of my yard. I can see really clearly. So I do recommend these. These are good binoculars. And I've taken them on a few different vacations, and they've done pretty well for me. I have a couple of Audubon books here we can look at later. But I just wanted to show you a picture real quick. This is what an eastern screech owl looks like. And ours really looks like this. Ours is gray, and he has the big ear tufts. Sometimes he almost looks like a kitty cat. His ear tufts are so big. But that is a real common with the, not common, but a characteristic of the eastern screech owl are the big ear tufts. But they can also be sort of a more golden color. But all the ones near us are this gray color, which is good because that makes them blend in with the owl box we built. Let me show you. Like, this isn't the most clear photo, but here he is in the owl box. And you could see how when this is him, when he's sitting on a tree branch, you can't even see him. He's so camouflaged. So here he is. And I'll show you more about the building of this and how we had to set it up. But real quick, when I took this particular photo, okay, speaking of cutting down trees, I don't know how much you can hear, but outside my house, they're cutting down a large tree. So if you hear that sawing, that's what it is. But hopefully I won't bother the video. Sorry, I'm going to take a step off I'll do it off. Okay. So I took this photo with my iPhone camera, and I was standing back. I was getting in my car, and I jumped out because I saw him there, and I went to take this photo. And the young man who lives in the house behind us, I don't know if I wondered if maybe we could see him looking, but he thought that I was taking a picture of his bedroom or something. I don't know. So he comes running out and starts screaming and yelling and cussing. I don't know them. I don't really talk to them. And my husband was just getting in the car, and he pops out of the car ready to like defend me or something. And I went, no, there's an owl in the owl box. And the kid goes, after screaming all these cuss words, he goes, "Oh, my bad." And he goes back in his house. I'm like, okay, maybe start with kindness. Anyway, okay. It's sort of a funny story. I don't care. All right, I want to show you. I'm going to show you this video if I can, if it'll work on camera. That takes you on a tour of this owl box. Now, this box my husband built in 2020, mostly out of old pallets that we had around that were getting kind of aged like this, and he wanted it to blend in. So here's a video of a tour of it. So he put that so they can put their little claws on there to walk in. And then he put this on so we could open it up and clean it out sometimes. And then you put these pine needles at the bottom, and that helps for their nesting. And then he notched all these in here, and that's for the babies to put their little claws on and climb up. It's so cute, you guys. So that, oh yeah, and then on the back, he put that there to keep rain from rotting it. And then these two, the idea was we'd put it, I should have shown that, but the idea was it has a piece like that with a hole here and a hole here, and then I guess it's on the tree. We have a piece with pins in it, so it would sit on those pins, and that would hold it on. Yeah. Okay. So that's the owl box that he built. Now the thing was, he was using all this old wood. He didn't buy any new wood. It was stuff we had around. And the thing ended up weighing about about 1,000,000 pounds. And when we tried to put it up and do the thing with the pins that was so well planned out, it became apparent that this angle of this tree was tougher to do than you might think. And he's pretty good at figuring these things, but it was something about the way it connected. So we had to put a longer extender here to hold it out. And then you need to have the box, about at least 10 feet off the ground. And so lifting this heavy box up, you have to get it up above the pins and put it down on it and have it match up. That ended up being a bit of a struggle, but one that we successfully conquered. But okay, hold on. The way we did it, the tree, it kind of goes up like this, and then this branch kind of goes like that, I guess. I feel like that's how it is. And so we're putting the box on. That's not a great example, but anyway, my point is we're trying to put the box on these pins, and we have to lift the box. This is terrible trying. Up above these pins. And so we have my husband on a ladder holding it. His arms are real long, apparently. And then my son and I have sticks, like big boards. And we're trying to lift it up because it was so heavy by standing here and, giving it support. And the thing is moving around. And I mean, it could have fallen on our heads and killed us. So we both believe that we lived through a horrific thing. My husband says it was fine the whole time, that he had a hold of it. Anyway, we got it on there, and it'll never come off unless that tree branch crashes down one day. So, I don't know. So the thing with the box is, if you build an owl box, you really want to, I think I said this, but I grab a pen. It should be at least 10 feet off the ground. It's best for the box to face east or northeast, but I think east is best. What you want is for the morning sun to shine on the box, because the owls like that. They like to be warmed in the morning. So finding a tree or a building or whatever you can find where it can be east or northeast. The hole should be 3 inches. Ours is 3 inches, but you can make it bigger. I think maybe like up to 8 inches. The only thing I'll say about that is then you might start getting bigger birds in there. We kind of wanted to keep the smaller birds in. So here's what's happened though with our owl box over the years. 2 weeks ago, and this has happened before, but 2 weeks ago, I could look in there and I saw something sticking out of the hole. And I got excited thinking maybe it was the owl, but it was a squirrel. And squirrels get in there and just fill it full of leaves. And so we have to evict the squirrels every now and then. And so we pound on it until the squirrels come out, and then open it up and clean all their leaves out. And then the times a year that we have owls, they usually show up in March. Well, I'll actually tell you, we put the box up in 2020. That year, the first owl showed up. We put it up in February. Within less than 2 weeks, we had an owl, which was very exciting, very exciting. And that owl, I named him Owlbert. And he stayed for about 10 days and then left, and that was all we saw of him. And in around, I think, October, the squirrels moved in. And for a minute, I was like, oh, maybe we should just let the squirrels take over because they're fun to watch. And Owlbert didn't like it. But we said, no, we're going to kick the squirrels out. So we banged on it, took all their leaves out. And this is before they had a family. I mean, they had just moved in. And then on the hole of the box, we actually put a piece of wood over it and drilled it in so that no squirrels could get in. And the reason for that is the owls don't start to look for their homes until spring. And then the male owls go out and they look for a, place that they think will be good. And usually they'll have 2 or 3. And the one that they like the best, they'll try to get a mate to come to that place. And then they lay their eggs and have their little baby owlets. So in 2020, he showed up and he left. In 2021, pretty sure it was the same owl, because I know him. He came back and he was there a little longer that time. And I got hopeful, but he left again. And what we realized then is every fall we close up the box because that's when the squirrels move in. Let's see. So let's jump to 2023. Yes. In 2023, in March, Owlbert shows up and he is there. Yeah, for at least, I'd say 3 weeks. And then one day I see a bigger owl who's a little bit more warm in color. And that was Miss Hootie. And so Miss Hootie and Owlbert in 2023 nested and they had little owlets. And I think we had 4 owlets, which is what a baby owl is. And that was so exciting. And the little owls would come and pop their they'd walk up those steps and you could see them go toot, 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 up and down the little steps. And Miss Hootie would stay with them all day. And Owlbert would hang out in the trees nearby. And the thing with owls is that crows, the big black crows, hate owls. And you can almost always tell when there is an owl in your area if you hear 100 crows all squawking. That is usually because of an owl. They hate them. They hate them. And so the crows would show up and try to fly like towards the hole of the box, but we made the hole small enough that the crows can't get in there. So it's really interesting to watch because Owlbert would attack the crows, and Owlbert's tiny compared to a big crow. I mean, he's tiny. He's smaller than Miss Hootie. But he will go after a crow if it's anywhere near Miss Hootie or the owlets. Okay, so that all happened, and that was all super exciting. But here is the part that is so crazy. So it was end of summer, I would say probably August, where the owls have all left. All the babies have fledged, and they have left the box. We have no owls. It's, season's over, and we're starting to think about closing up the box for the year and kind of excited to look and see if there are eggshells in there or whatever, because that was the first year we had babies. And one night we have a back window, and I wish I had pictures of this. I don't, but our back window is a big window like that, and there is an old oak tree with branches all in here, and then a crabapple tree that has some branches here. Now, fairly often Owlbert will sit on this crabapple tree and let's see, this oak tree, but then the oak tree in the back corner is where the owl box is. He will sit up here and keep an eye on his box. That's just regular. But this doesn't look like branches, but that's what this is. So one night we're sitting there. It is dusk. I mean, dark dusk, post sunset dusk. And all of a sudden I see an owl, and an owl, and an owl, and an owl flying, and another owl, and an owl here, and an owl here. And there's maybe two owls here, and another owl flying. And I am freaking out. And I'm like calling everybody, like, what is it? Come here and look. And we're counting them up. And they were moving around so much, but we are pretty sure there were over 20, that's a plus, over 20 owls flocking in the trees in our yard. And they were all looked like eastern screech owls, but it was so dark. It was that kind of, you couldn't take a picture. Like there wasn't enough light to get a photo. And I have Googled this. I can't find anything about owls flocking. So I thought that was really interesting. These look like bats, but they're owls, guys. Anyway, so if anybody is a what's a name for a person who's an expert in birds? An ornithologist? Is that right? I don't know. A bird expert. Let me know if owls flock, because I tried to find out, and I can't find out anything saying they do. And I'm not kidding. I bet it was closer to 30. It was hard because they were flying over, and my neighbor has trees over here, like a wooded area. And then there's trees over here. Why am I trying people? There are trees. Anyway, I don't know how many owls there were. It was incredible. Honestly, it gave me like goosebumps. So let me know if you've ever heard of owls flocking. I'm very curious. Let me think. Did I forget anything else about my personal owls? Well, I know what I was going to say. This year in February, so very early February. Did I say that? I saw the leaves. Yeah, I did. And I went and cleaned it out because it was the squirrels. And then we considered closing up the hole to keep the squirrels out. But I was like, man, Owlbert could show up, usually in March, anytime now. And so we left the hole open. And within, 3 days, Owlbert's there. So he's been there now for, I think, 4 days. He's been at his box, and he's way earlier than every other year. I mean, a month earlier, because I write it on the calendar. So I don't know if that's because it's been so warm or what's going on. He seems very early. So I have this Audubon Society Field Guide to North American Birds. And I thought we could just take a look if they say anything more or different. I mean, I'm telling you more personal stories about my owls. They will have actual factual information. Wait, what am I doing wrong? I swear they're right here. What? I thought the owls were right there. They have them by types of bird. And all the owls are together. One time in our backyard, because we have so much wildlife in our urban backyard, but when I first learned that crows hate owls so much was this one day we have a giant pine tree out back, and there must have been 100 crows all screaming and squawking. And I was like, what are those crows doing, And it turned out there was a great horned owl. I got out the binoculars, and I could see a great horned owl just sitting there, and the crows were all around him, just screaming and yelling. Here's a screech owl in the gray phase, it says, and a screech owl in the red phase. Now, I've only seen my guy. He looks like this. He looks a lot like that, actually. I've never seen mine have that red coat. Although I would say Miss Hootie has a little bit of red in her hair, maybe. So this says screech owl, true owls. Hold on, I gotta take a little, okay. A small mottled 10 inches. A small, mottled owl with prominent ear tufts. Eyes are yellow. Both rufous and gray color phases occur, as well as brownish intermediates. Voice, a tremulous, descending wail, soft purrs and trills. Okay, yeah, ours goes like, oh, should I? Hold on, let me see if I can actually give you the sound. I was going to try to mimic it, but I'm afraid I'll screw it up. Let me see if I can get enough Wi-Fi in here to play this for you real quick. Hold on. It makes the sound, it sounds like a baby horse, like a miniature horse. It's super cute, and right now I hear it every night all the time. Okay, hopefully we don't have any. I don't know if I have enough Wi-Fi, but it goes like, I don't think I can do it. I really want this to come up. Yeah, it's not going to. Okay, it makes a sound like, let me get away from the microphone. Like, I can't do it because my voice will get too loud. It's like, neigh, neigh, kind of like that. And then sometimes like, ew, ew, neigh. I can't do it. But it sounds like a baby horse, like a miniature horse going neigh, neigh. So if you hear that, that's probably a little owl. It's super cute. Okay, habitat: open deciduous woods, woodlots, suburban areas, lake shores, and old orchards. Nesting: 3 to 8 white eggs. By the way, when we opened it and looked inside, we didn't see any eggs. So I don't know where they'd gone. Placed without a nest lining in a cavity in a tree or in a bird box. Yeah, we had read that they like pine needles, and it just happened that we found a huge stash of nice dry pine needles, so we put them in there. Range: southeastern Alaska, British Columbia, Manitoba, and northern New England, south to the Gulf Coast of Mexico. Look at this map. They show everywhere, basically. I mean, in the U.S. Screech owls are fearless in defense of their nest and will often strike an unsuspecting human on the head as he passes nearby at night. When they were nesting, I try not to go out in the backyard at all because I don't want to, disturb them. But I was going back there because I have a shed back there, and I put on a bike helmet just in case, because I watched a show called The Staircase, and there is a theory that the woman was attacked by an owl. And if you had a big enough owl, it could do some damage. But I have seen that screech owl attack crows, so I know he can be fierce. Okay, when discovered during the day, they often freeze in an upright position, depending on their cryptic coloration to escape detection. Yeah, they blend right in. The two color phases, which vary in proportion geographically, are not based on age, sex, or season. Okay, what does this one say? I'm trying to think if there is anything else I haven't told you. But I don't think, like, if you had a little dog or something, it would go after that. They're pretty small. They're real small. But like the blue jays, I also have a chickadee box on the other side of the yard, and the chickadees nest there. And owls sometimes can kill chickadees, although I don't think my owl does that. But so the chickadees attack the owl box, and the blue jays attack it, and the crows attack it. So the poor owls fighting everybody. All right, 94. Oh my God, I opened right up to it. That's probably because I've opened to it before. Anyway, there's a good looking one. Actually, his ear tufts don't look as big. The eastern screech owl fearlessly defends the immediate area of its nest site and will strike at intruders if they sense a threat during daylight. These owls freeze and depend on camouflage for protection. Look for a small red or gray owl with a pale gray or orange facial disc ringed in black, large ear tufts, and yellow eyes. Length 7 to 10 inches. Yeah, ours is small. The male is real small. Voice eerie, whistling wail that falls in pitch, heard mostly in spring and fall. Also, gentle hoots and trills. And they show the eastern screech owl's range is like this part of the U.S. Forests, habitat, forest, wooded swamps, cemeteries, and suburbs. Yeah. Let's see, is there anything else? I would like to bring up this sound, but I don't have Wi-Fi. It's too bad. Yeah, it's not working. Oh, wow. You can look it up. There are like videos. Oh, I know what else I wanted to tell you guys. Okay. There is an app. Sorry, I kind of made a loud noise in the mic. There is an app called why am I forgetting this right now? Oh my god. It's an app by Cornell University, and you can listen to you click your microphone on your phone, and it will pick up all the sounds in the area, all the bird sounds, and it tells you as the sounds are happening which bird it is making that call. Merlin. It's called Merlin. It's so fun. Apparently I'm a bird nerd. I didn't used to be, but now that between Merlin and watching this owl and all the birds that come around just to see the owl, I've become a bird nerd, because now I can tell all the birds in my yard, and there are at least 40 that come by throughout the year. I can tell them by their call, because once you start looking at that app, it'll say like, the nuthatch or the chickadee or a pigeon, crow, owl, and it'll tell you. And then if there's like it'll say like whatever the bird, I don't know, let's say chickadee, which by the way, when I was a little kid, that was my favorite bird. Did I spell chickadee right? I don't know. But by the bird, it will either say like that, which means common, and I think it's like if it's a half circle, then it's sort of uncommon. But if you get a circle like that, and then it's filled with red, that is like rare for your area. And so that's always pretty exciting. And then what you can do, if you want, you can capture that recording and send it to Cornell University to put in their database, so they know that that bird was seen in that place at that time. So it's pretty neat. I think it's really cool. Anyway, so yeah, Merlin bird, it's called. I think if you just Google, go to App Store, bird app, and that's where you get the bird sounds. All right, I can't think of anything else. Sorry if I was speaking not very ASMR-y. I get a little excited when I talk about my Owlbert. So if you guys have ideas for names for baby owls, I'm hoping this year. I just called them all baby owl. But I gotta think of some more owl names. I mean, who doesn't want to name their baby owls, right? Alright, well, that's all I can think of, guys. I hope you enjoyed this walk through my owl world. Look how cute this mug is, though, right? that's Owlbert. And there's Big Fat Miss Hootie. And I mean that complimentary, she's healthy. And then there's some other wackadoodle owl. Alright. Yeah. I can't think of anything else. I know the minute that I stop this video, I'll go,